The Earth is neither bounded nor spherical. The Earth is flat, motionless, and infinite. On the flat, real and infinite Earth there are a very large number of territories similar to our Earth. There is a magnetic center in the middle of the territory. A luminous celestial object, which we call the Sun, revolves above the territory and around the magnetic center. At least two such territories are right next to us. Because the Earth is not a sphere, the South Pole does not exist, and Antarctica is a giant wall of ice with an average height of about 45 meters that lies on the entire outer circumference of our Earth. Beyond Antarctica are new lands. Lately, more and more documents are appearing, such as photos and videos taken in China and North America, in which two suns appear instead of one. One of them is our sun, while the other is the sun that belongs to the neighboring Earth. It is not about the optical illusion in which three lights appear, one in the middle which is the sun and two sides which by being halves of the sun. This is an optical phenomenon. The two suns that appeared in China and North America are two distinct and are real suns. The world's authorities are well aware that the Earth is flat. You can see this by looking at their flags, emblems and logos on which the Earth is represented flat. Knowing that the Earth is flat, the authorities have always suspected that beyond the high ice walls of Antarctica are new territories. Antarctica does not exist on these flags, emblems and logos. The United Nations flag is divided into 33 regions. 33 is the highest degree of Freemasonry that can be granted only to Masonic masters in the Masonic group Scottish Rite of Freemasonry. The United Nations is in fact the headquarters of the world occult. This site was built on land donated by 33rd degree Freemason John Davison Rockefeller Jr., January 29, 1874, May 11, 1960. 33rd degree Masonic masters are considered enlightened and become members of the Enlightenment group. Numerous expeditions were organized to reach the southern polar region, set foot on Antarctica, and build colonies on this continent. Between 1946 to 1947 it was held under U.S. patronage. Operation High Jump, OP-HJP, which resulted in the largest expedition to Antarctica. This operation began in August 1946, was organized by Admiral Richard E. Byrd, and was co-financed by the Rockefeller House. An army of 5,000 men, 13 ships and 26 aircraft took part in the operation. On his return home, Admiral Richard E. Byrd gave televised interviews in which he revealed that beyond the South Pole was a larger continent than North America. Because he said more than he should, he was hospitalized and killed at the behest of his older Masonic brothers. Antarctic activity is governed by the Antarctic Treaty and about 200 additional agreements signed by several countries around the world. The articles of the Antarctic Treaty have excellent strategic objectives, such as that Antarctica should always be used for peaceful purposes and for the benefit of all mankind. From a very wide historical experience, everyone knows that everything that the authorities formulate in writing, treaties or laws, is dust in the eyes of the people. There are many indications that exploring Antarctica is severely limited by the need for a permit and Antarctic military personnel. Uncertified news from independent and competent sources says that self-tourism is banned in Antarctica, that private and unauthorized flights over Antarctica are banned, and that independent researchers trying to explore Antarctica, such as the Norwegian Jarle Andhøy, B. October 23, 1977, and his crew were allegedly threatened with violence, arrested or even killed. According to these indications, the authorities are preparing a siege of humanity by placing military bases on the circular territory surrounding our planet called Antarctica, to prevent in the near future a mass emigration of people to new territories beyond Antarctica. The worst situation for the authorities is when the enslaved people leave the territory they control and emigrate to new territories, because, in this case, the people who call themselves authorities will have to work themselves in order to what could be a disastrous situation for them could be maintained, given that they had never worked. The world's super-rich have already built their homes, new homes are under construction, on the new territories beyond Antarctica. They travel to these territories by means of missiles, airplanes and land transport. The RSRM equals reusable solid rocket motor and solid rocket boosters, with onboard crews built by NASA, consist of an orbital, which is actually an airplane, and tubes that contain solid fuel. These missiles are reusable. They are launched and rise to a very high altitude. The fuel pipes are disconnected and the so-called orbital, which is actually an airplane, flies with its own engines to the new territories. This can be seen from the fact that these rockets do not rise directly upwards to exit the Earth's atmosphere, but at some point bend downwards. Scientific authorities say the rockets are turning to follow the curvature of the Earth. The curvature of the Earth does not exist because the Earth is flat. The missiles turn to print the plane's direction to the new territories. Sometimes the world's super-rich want to move to new territories in Antarctica. Among other purposes, Antarctic bases serve as intermediate stations for transportation to new territories. The lords of the world reside in territories beyond Antarctica where there is excellent quality air, water and land. They don't care what happens here on our Earth. The world's super-rich use our planet as a surface and deep mine. from which they extract the raw materials they need with the help of humans and robots, and as a place of production. People are their slaves. The surface of all stagnant water, such as lakes, seas and oceans, is flat, and all canals, tunnels and railways are built without regard to the supposed convexity or curvature of the earth. The light from harbor headlights can be seen at such great distances that they should not be visible if the earth were spheroidal due to the curvature of the earth. The pilots of the planes do not constantly tilt the muzzle of the plane to follow the supposed curvature of the spheroidal earth in order to maintain the desired altitude. The earth is infinite. Above the earth are the atmospheric layers that together form the earth's atmosphere. Above the earth's atmosphere is the gaseous atmosphere of outer space. An interesting and astonishing feature of the infinite earth is that no matter which direction you look, even if you look at the sky, you look in the direction of the earth, and if you look above the horizon you could see the earth if you removed the earth's gaseous atmosphere. Outer space. If we remove the relief formed by mountains, hills and valleys and the complex crust of the earth has no curvature and no convexity and is perfectly flat. The sun, the moon, and the stars revolve around a motionless earth, just the way we perceive it. The North Pole is the Earth's magnetic center. The Sun moves above the Earth in a spiral trajectory on the surface of a cone trunk with a large base above the Tropic of Capricorn and the upper base above the Tropic of Cancer. As it ascends the trunk of the cone, the speed of the Sun becomes slower and slower, and as it descends its speed becomes ever greater. Horizontal circular motion produces the day-night cycle, while vertical upward and downward motion produces the seasons. The official paradigm states that solar eclipses are due to the passage of the moon in front of the sun, and lunar eclipses would be the result of the alignment of the sun, earth and moon in a single line, and the earth would be in the middle and obscure the moon. Ancient astronomers, as well as recent astronomical observations, tell us something completely different, namely that eclipses are due to the occultation of the Sun and Moon by unenlightened celestial bodies. Scientists, in this case NASA, are proud that they can predict eclipses, and people believe that this prediction is based on the parameters of the globular model, which leads to the conclusion that the globular model is correct. The truth is that scientists use ancient models to calculate eclipses, and that in these models there are no specific parameters of the globular model. Consequently, the prediction of eclipses has nothing to do with the globular model and is therefore not proof that the globular model is correct. The Sun and the Moon are the same size and have synchronicities between them. The globular theory assumes that the Sun is at a distance of 149,600,000 kilometers. A Sun at a very great distance of about 149,600,000 kilometers cannot illuminate an entire spherical half of a spherical object such as the Moon. The solar rays projected on the Moon would in this case be parallel rays because the Sun would be at a very great distance. These rays would illuminate only one spot in the center of the Moon, because the other rays falling on the spherical surface of the Moon would be reflected down and up so that they could not be seen by an observer on Earth. The international astronomical community and space agencies around the world are controlled by Freemasons. NASA's space agency is the headquarters of the world space agencies. The term Godmother means cheating in style in Hebrew. On the emblem of the space agency are stars and a snake's tongue. The translation of the symbolism of this emblem is as follows: to fool people in a big way about the universe, or to fool people in a big way about astronomy. The man was not on the Moon. Landing and amortization were pranks staged on Earth by Freemasons. The supposed artificial satellites placed in Earth orbit and the supposed space stations do not exist. All the movies and images of the NASA Space Agency in which they appear, the Hubble Space Telescope, the ISS space station, planets, etc., are actually computer-generated images. Some images of astronauts floating in a non-gravitational space are created using cables to which the astronauts are attached. Others are made in planes called zero-G flying on a parabolic curve, and still others in a large pool. With water from Texas, called the Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory, which simulates non-gravity. If the Earth were a spheroid, it would have to be objects from the ground, water, and air at great distances, such as buildings, ship masts, hot air balloons in the air, and so on, to appear inclined. This has never been noticed, which means that the Earth is flat. The fastest passenger planes in human history were the Concorde and Tupolev Tu-144. Concorde reached 2.2 Mach, 2.2 times faster than the speed of sound, and Tupolev Tu-144 reached 2.0 Mach. These passenger planes have been taken out of service and no commercial passenger aircraft today, 2017, can reach the speed of sound. The official paradigm of global astronomers says that the Earth rotates with its atmosphere from west to east, so that a point on the Earth's surface at the equator would have an average speed of 1,675 kilometers h. Sound speed equals 1,224 kilometers h. As we observe, according to this theory, which in brackets has never been proven, the Earth would rotate from west to east at a speed faster than sound. If this were not the case, no commercial passenger aircraft in this world would be able to fly from west to east, because flying east means flying in the direction of the Earth's rotation, and if you fly at a speed slower than the Earth's speed, you will not be able to fly. Never advance. However, commercial passenger planes fly east at a slower speed than the speed of sound and reach their destination. The rotation of the Earth exists only in the crazy imagination of global astronomers. The Earth is infinite. Above the Earth are the atmospheric layers that together form the Earth's atmosphere. Above the Earth's atmosphere is the gaseous atmosphere of outer space. An interesting and astonishing feature of the infinite Earth is that no matter which direction you look, even if you look at the sky, you look in the direction of the Earth, and if you look above the horizon you could see the Earth if you removed the Earth's gaseous atmosphere. Outer space. Whoever thinks that the Earth is a spheroid floating in outer space has no hope of being freed from slavery, because he has nowhere to go. When people understand that the Earth is flat, motionless, and infinite, they will be able to create super-performing vehicles with which to go to other lands near our Earth and thus become free. Our flat Earth is about 10 times larger than spheroidal Earth. Whoever does not understand this will agree with the propaganda of the masters of the world, which says that our land is overpopulated and must be depopulated by wars and disease. The Earth is flat, motionless, and infinite. Water, the unparalleled substance of flat Earth, is what covers 70% of its surface. It is an indispensable substance for carbon organisms, which thrive with its help. It separates the lands, covers them when it can no longer stay within its limits, nourishes nature and has a circuit through which it purifies itself of the dirt it cleanses after people. Then it falls clean back to earth, maintaining and giving life, without asking for anything in return. If man knew how to appreciate and understand who his mother is, who is the one who gives life and kills, who has the greatest power on this earth, who is the only being who can materialize in all three known forms, liquid, solid, gas, vapor, then he should look back at the water. Natural laws cause water to take the shape of the vessels or earth it fills. It does not bend. It cannot stand upwards. It always keeps its surface perfectly flat. The calm water is always straight. And if you look at it from panoramic points, you do it even better. Never forget this law of water. No matter where she is, she seeks to find her level in absolutely every point where she is. Everyone who studied water understood that it cannot sit on a ball, that apples fall from a tree because of its weight, not because of gravity, that the earth does not revolve around the sun, but vice versa, and that everything the surrounding is water. Just as there is water down, there is water up, and these waters are separated by a dome, by a firmament that the scientific world is called Van Allen's belts. To create confusion are those who understood that our system is closed and governed by frequency and vibration, by the electromagnetism that emanates from the central North Pole. The ones who wonder how we so easily believed in the lie of the globe? Absolutely all we know are colossal lies, as is the story of the globe, on which water, undefeated by anyone, lies bent. As you know, we live on a flat stationary Earth, and in the center is an inexhaustible magnetic spring, which comes from the North Pole. Just above it is the North Star, fixed at the highest point of a wonderful firmament, which has the shape of a crystalline dome. Under the firmament, there are different atmospheric layers, located at different heights from the ground. The ionosphere begins about 48 kilometers above the Earth, and is composed of the thermosphere and mesosphere. The thermosphere is an electrical atmosphere ionized by solar electromagnetism and forms the inner edge of the magnetosphere. These tubes contain molecular gas from the atmosphere above us. This gas, or gaseous vapor, contains various substances such as helium, argon, krypton, xenon, neon and many more. When a Tesla electromagnetic coil is placed in the immediate vicinity of these gas tubes, The magnetic field of the coil ionizes or charges this coloring gas, resulting in phosphorescent plasma. This is why our sky is mostly blue, because the electromagnetic presence of the sun ionizes the atmosphere, which becomes colored plasma. When the sun reaches the points that the false controllers call sunrise and sunset, we always see a great variety of colors, which are born due to its distance from the ionosphere above us. When the sun is no longer above our region, the sky loses its color and we can see what we call stars, which are above the sky. Although official scientists draw the ionosphere as an atmospheric layer, in reality it is an etheric layer. The ether is the tissue or element that carries electromagnetism. He connects absolutely everything in our kingdom. The ether is the tissue that makes possible the existence of the sun, the moon and their concentric motion above our disk Earth. The ether is the mysterious binder, called the fifth element. It connects everything magnetically with the help of vibrational energy, as if gluing them together. It is the force behind everything that exists. The other four elements, water, fire, air and earth, exist due to the ether. They are the result of the vibrations of the ether. The Semitic examples are the unequivocal proof of the existence of the ether. The element that allows everything to be in different forms is the ether that works when the vibration, the sound, changes its intensity. This is why we see, for example, how cut fruits and vegetables look like wonderful symbol figures. All matter is etheric, and the figure, the appearance of matter, is in fact the ether in its various forms generated by vibration and frequency. The ether is the bridge between electromagnetic frequency and vibrational energy. It is the very form of matter that the Church calls the Holy Spirit. The historical and scientific truth about the ether has been deliberately manipulated, falsified. The enemy introduced the truth only to destroy it, to bury it. Many people in the past have written about ether. Aristotle called it the fifth element. James Clerk Maxwell, the father of electromagnetism, said of the ether, with the help of a process that connects the space between them. The undulating theory of light presupposes the existence of something to be proved and the electromagnetic properties of that something, which are identical with that which transmits light. That something to which it refers in these lines is the ether. Einstein consolidated the theory of heliocentrism with the help of false schools in which they promoted scientific lies. But even he could not deny the presence of the ether. According to the theory of general relativity, space without ether is impossible. Because in that space, not only would there be no propagation of light, but no possibility of the existence of space and time, so no spatio-temporal interval in the physical sense. Even today, science admits that space and matter could not exist without ether. Today, vacuum is recognized as a rich physical environment. A general theory of vacuum, so it is a general theory of everything. A universal theory that it would be fair to call once again the ether of vacuum. Let us return to the ionosphere above us, which is a large constant of electromagnetism, which is responsible for the colored plasma above, which we call the sky. "500 years ago, an elite group of sun-worshipping conspirators spread a nihilistic cosmology. Cosmology that the vast majority of the world unconditionally believes in. We have been taught, contrary to all common sense and experience, that the seemingly stationary, flat Earth beneath our feet is in fact a huge moving ball, which spins in space at more than 1,000 miles per hour. 1,609 kilometers, h, which spins and tilts 23.5 degrees from its vertical axis as it revolves around the Sun at a blinding speed of 67,000 miles per hour. 107,826 kilometers, h, in combination with the entire solar system, which it revolves around the Milky Way at 500,000 miles per hour. 804,670 kilometers, h, and crossing the expanding universe away from the Big Bang at an unimaginable speed of 670 million miles per hour, 1,078,257,800 kilometers, h. But you don't feel any of that. We have been taught that a mysterious force called gravity is a magic magnetism responsible for preventing everything from falling and supporting a spinning globe that is strong enough to hold people, oceans, and the atmosphere so firmly on its surface, but so weak that it allows insects, birds and planes to take off. While we sit, we drink our cup of tea or coffee, the world spins at an extraordinary speed, and in our tea there is not even a hint of curls, until you lightly touch the table with your finger. They taught us that those little points of light placed in the night sky, known as planets or wandering stars, are actually physical, globular, Earth-like habitats millions of miles away. They even showed us a video of one of these objects, supposedly called Mars. They taught us that small points of light in the night sky, known as fixed stars, are actually billions of miles away, each with its own solar system, rotating moons, and Earth-like planets, and that they are a potential refuge for extraterrestrial life. We have been taught that the moon has no light of its own, that its light is simply a reflection of sunlight, that some NASA Masons went to the moon, that other NASA Masons sent a rover to Mars, that satellites and space stations are constantly moving in a certain position, suspended above the Earth, that Hubble telescopes take pictures of distant planets, galaxies, stars, quasars, black holes, hot holes, and other fantastic celestial phenomena. We have been taught that our ancient ignorant ancestors mistakenly believed that the Earth was the flat, stationary center of the universe. But because of modern science and its Masonic prophets such as Copernicus, Newton, Galileo, Collins, Eldrin, and Armstrong, we now believe that the world is a huge rotating ball, covered with earth and sea, spinning through endless space. We have been taught that millions of years ago, the universe evolved through the Big Bang, that the universe began to manifest through the sun, planets, then water, then somehow, from dead, inactive elements, single-celled organisms appeared, grew, and they multiplied and moved into different large organisms, which continued to grow and multiply and move, reaching diversity and becoming more complex, losing credibility, to the point where amphibians went ashore, replacing the gills with the lungs, began to breathe air, evolving into mammals, became bipedal fingers, stretched, evolved into monkeys, and then, thanks to a fluke, a human hybrid was created and human history began. We have been taught that the greatest stupidity and naivete was that our ignorant ancestors believed that the Earth was flat, and that if a person somehow believes that the Earth is the stationary center of the universe, then he must be the most primitive ignorant. Nowadays, the label flat Earth has become a literary synonym for stupid and a general cliché of a derogatory term for insulting one's intelligence. They taught us that there is a universe, with billions of planets, space missions, landings on the moon, over 1,000 artificial satellites orbiting the Earth, asteroids that frequently threaten to destroy life on Earth, UFOs, extraterrestrial beings. And yet on closer inspection nothing is true, as it is written in the Bible. We are caught between the earth and the dome, nothing material can come in or go out, and the evidence has begun to come out. The landing on the moon was filmed in a studio in Hollywood. The planets are painted by artists hired by NASA. The rockets make a circular arc shortly after takeoff so as not to hit the celestial dome, and so the secret is not discovered. The filming from various planets are created, but they are presented to us as real, instead of satellites. Communications are made by sea and land cables. Everything is consciously realized and propagated in the media of education, literature, pseudoscience, movies, to make mankind believe that we live on a planet, along with an infinity of other planets, that there is no creator and life on Earth is just a coincidence. Efforts went in two directions. While humanity was kept unconscious, explorations and tests were performed to determine the real limits of the universe in which we live. Naval expeditions led by humans such as Sir James Clark Ross, 1839, and Admiral Richard E. Byrd, 1928, discovered an ice wall surrounding the Earth, impossible to cross, and then an attempt was made to pierce the dome with nuclear bombs. 1962, launch of on Johnson Island, the Starfish Prime nuclear test, and last but not least the depth of the Earth, Kola Superdeep, Kola Peninsula, Russia. Today, world leaders have accurate technical data about the size of the Earth, and with it the certainty that there is a God in the Bible, hence their effort to distract people, presenting reality in the most illusory way possible. An important and extraordinary handwritten world map drawn on a northern polar projection to form the largest handwritten map of the flat Earth. This map is a continuation of Urbano Monti's work on his supreme map of the world, a flat Earth. Of great interest is Monti's attempt to make his map not just a geographical tool, but to show the climate, the customs, the length of the day, the distances within the regions. In other words, to create an overview of flat Earth. A monumental map, this little-known work by Monti can take its place as the best map of the flat Earth. I invite you with me to enjoy the map of the flat Earth, the real one.